Welcome to 50 Photos, where every picture tells a forgotten story. If you love history, like this video and subscribe.
12-year-old Lo Man Hong, the youngest Vietnamese photojournalist in Saigon, 1968. He has been assisting his father, a veteran and photographer, for 2 years, documenting the horrors of war around him. Austrian soldiers harshly punish Russian prisoners of war who protest against the terrible conditions of their captivity and the brutal treatment. This event took place in 1916 during World War I. Adolf Hitler unexpectedly arrived in a train car where wounded Wehrmacht soldiers were located, having been brought back from the front after the invasion of Poland. This unexpected meeting took place in 1939. American soldiers confined to their beds are knitting at Walter Reed Hospital in Maryland, USA in 1918. This was a time filled with fear and hope as people struggled with the consequences of war and a pandemic. American soldiers waiting for a helicopter for evacuation in Vietnam, 1966. The war left deep scars, claimed tens of thousands of lives, and changed the course of history, questioning the ideals of freedom. On the Tunisian front of World War II in 1943, an American reporter and a French soldier share a fox's den, symbolizing unity and support during difficult times. American circus performer Alexander Petty jumps down the stairs headfirst while performing a stunt in the USA in 1908. His acrobatic skills and bravery captivated audiences, leaving them breathless in amazement. Americans surfing in cars during a flood in Mexico in 1967. This unusual mode of transportation became a symbol of human ingenuity in the face of natural disasters. An English hunter with his trophies in British India, 1883. This photograph reflects the colonial sentiments of the time and the complex relationships between hunters and the local population. Astronauts Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, Gordon Cooper, and Pete Conrad underwent survival training in tropical conditions at Albrook Air Force Base, located near the Panama Canal in 1963. These skills were essential for future missions. A bobsled team participates in the first Winter Olympics held in France in 1924. This event became iconic for winter sports and attracted the attention of spectators from around the world. Boy Scouts in England in 1912 were raising money to help the surviving passengers of the Titanic, demonstrating a spirit of solidarity and support during difficult times. Boxer Jack Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight champion, poses with Finnish police in Helsinki in 1906. His achievements became iconic in the history of sports and the fight for African-American rights. British schoolchildren in London in 1938 learned to make Christmas pudding in cooking classes, which has become an important part of the traditional Christmas celebration in the country. British heavy tank Mark V from World War I, alongside a deceased horse in France, 1918. The photograph reflects the horrific consequences of war, leaving scars on both machinery and animals. In 1934, the Cincinnati Public Library in the USA conducted a vaccination of books with naphthalene to protect them from moths and preserve them for future generations. In 1932, a rope bed in a homeless shelter in London cost only 2 pence. and those who could afford 4 pence had the opportunity to sleep in more comfortable conditions. During the Cold War, a protester carries a wooden cross inscribed with the word "Humanity" to the Brandenburg Gate in West Berlin. This symbolic gesture took place in 1961 and became a defining moment. Doctors in protective clothing during the smallpox outbreak in Wrocław, Poland in 1963. These heroes of medicine battled the disease, risking their own lives for the health of their patients and society as a whole. At the Nuremberg trials, Hermann Göring, the chairman of the Reichstag, did not recognize the tribunal's decisions. In his final speech, he stated that he considered himself a victim and was glad to have escaped execution by taking poison on October 15, 1946. Mr. Pickerel drove the first automobile in Washington, D.C. in 1899. This vehicle, costing $750 and having 4 horsepower, attracted the attention of citizens who gathered to see the carriage that moves without horses. In 1948, a group of Navajo Indian children learns the English language at a public school, highlighting the importance of education in preserving cultural identity. Before we continue, I'd like to give you a recommendation. Our team has created a tool for restoring old photos in poor condition, those with scratches, tears, blurriness, or low resolution. With Restory.online, simply upload an image to improve its quality, restore lost details, and breathe new life into it using the latest technology. The interface is simple, processing takes very little time, and the results can sometimes reveal details that were almost invisible in the original photo. If you want to restore your own memories or bring old family photos back to life, visit Restory.online. Link in the description. Now, back to our story. A group of scientists from the University of Michigan is conducting an unusual experiment exploring the effects of alcohol on the human body. In 1949, they decided to study how alcohol influences perception and behavior. In Normandy in 1944, 2 British tankers with burned faces light up cigarettes. Their tank was hit and they experienced a true war. 2-year-old Native American Ronald performs an eagle dance for spectators at the Grand Canyon National Park in the USA in 1950, sharing the richness of his culture and traditions with them. Girl Scouts in the USA in 1916 became champions in collecting pitch pits, which were processed into charcoal for gas mask filters, aiding soldiers during World War I. At the Cadbury Chocolate Factory in the UK in 1932, girls manually connect halves of Easter eggs, preparing them for the holiday with care and attention. In 1950, at the Indianapolis Speedway races, children's cars reached speeds of 35 km per hour, providing young racers a unique opportunity to experience speed. In 1989, a long queue formed outside the first sex shop, Beate Uhse, in Berlin. This event is linked to the story of Beate Uhse, the first female stuntwoman in Germany and an entrepreneur. A satisfied Fidel Castro leaves New York in 1979, leaving behind a trail of vivid impressions, while a souvenir t-shirt becomes a symbol of his visit to the USA. The daily morning exercise of bombers with 100-pound bombs in the USA 1943. This process was a crucial part of military operations training during World War II. Women fighters of the mechanized brigades of the Canadian Army participate in a parade in 1941 in the USA. Their return home became a symbol of victory and courage. In May 1945, residents of Berlin received free potatoes from the Soviet military administration. This gesture became a symbol of hope in the post-war times when people were looking for ways to survive. The famous photograph of a little girl turning away from a weaving loom to a factory window symbolizes the fight against child labor in the USA 1908. This image became an important milestone in social history. The famous German racing driver Hermann at the Berlin racetrack in 1959. On that day, his car's brakes failed at a speed of 280 kilometers per hour, and he directed his car into hay bales that served as safety buffers. The driver escaped with a minor fright and earned the nickname Lucky Hans, celebrating his 91st birthday in February. In 1917, the United States conducted tests of kites that were used as observation points for military operations, marking a new stage in military technology. The F-2F fighter, part of the 1st Marine Air Wing, is stationed at an airfield in Korea in 1953. Its napalm tanks bear the inscription "Merry Christmas from the 1st Carrier Wing." Italian artillerymen positioned their guns among the prickly cacti in Tunisia during the North African campaign of World War II in 1943. It was a challenging and decisive moment in the fight against the enemy. Italian soldiers in Venice in 1915 prepared to fire upon enemy aircraft. Their determination and courage at this critical moment in history laid the foundation for many victories on the front. In 1920, during the famous multi-day cycling race Tour de France, cyclists smoked cigarettes, believing that the smoke increased lung capacity and improved breathing power. Elon Musk's mother, May Musk, appears in an advertisement for a typewriter in South Africa, 1968. May Musk is a model who was a finalist in the Miss South Africa pageant in 1969 and has worked in the fashion industry for over 50 years. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, proud owners of the largest mastiff in the UK, named Butch, enjoy their time spent with their pet in 1958, showcasing the true friendship between a man and his dog. In 1960, a rally against hippies took place in the USA, where slogans proclaimed that long hair was a sign of communism. This reflected the societal contradictions and fears of that era. Mikhail Gorbachev and Donald Trump exchanged a handshake at a breakfast in the White House organized in honor of Gorbachev in 1987, emphasizing the importance of US-Soviet relations. In 1918, a man in the USA creates masks for soldiers who suffered severe facial injuries during World War I. These masks helped restore their appearance. The table displays various stages of production of the Stahlhelms helmets intended for the Imperial German Army. These helmets were manufactured at a metallurgical plant in Lübeck in 1916. German troops prepared a chlorine gas attack against Russian soldiers. This event took place in Poland in 1915 and became one of the most terrifying moments of World War I. A German sailor in 1936 carefully inspects the sausages hanging on the ship, illustrating the concern for food supply during maritime expeditions. An unusual hot air balloon shaped like a woman's skirt and legs advertises a textile company in West Germany in 1961. This creative advertisement caught the attention of locals and tourists alike. Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary became the first to conquer the majestic Mount Everest in 1953. They spent only 15 minutes at the summit, but their feat entered the history of mountaineering. In the United Kingdom, the opening of a new confectionery on the day the bans on candy sales were lifted became a true celebration. People joyfully gathered in line to enjoy the long-awaited treats in 1953. A squad of Singapore police, armed with batons and woven shields during riots in 1964. Their task was to maintain order and security during difficult times for society. A team of professional rat catchers during the bubonic plague in Sydney in 1900. These brave individuals became the last line of defense, fighting the spread of the plague and ensuring the safety of the residents. In 1920, in Sierra Leone, a British Army officer relaxes in a hammock carried by 4 locals. This photograph illustrates the colonial realities of that time. Henri Matisse, paralyzed and unable to move, paints on the wall in his Nice home in 1954. This moment became his final creative surge before his death. The Amoskeag steam fire engine en route to a blaze in Vancouver, Canada in 1908. This engine became a symbol of the battle against fire and progress in fire safety. Penguins listening to a gramophone on a warm summer day during Ernest Shackleton's second expedition to Antarctica in 1908. This moment captured the unique connection between animals and music. Gustav Whitehead's glider, created in 1901, became iconic in the history of aviation. This German immigrant flew a powered aircraft 2 years before the Wright brothers, making him a pioneer in his field. From 1968 until his death in 2011, artist Roman Opalka created self-portraits daily, capturing the passage of time and its changes through his work. Professional diver Courtney Brown tows a 17-meter model of the Titanic for the 1980 film. It cost $350.00 and required $6,000 to create a large tank. The advertising campaign for new water-repellent fabric suits in the USA in 1948 became a true event, showcasing all the advantages of innovative materials for protection against rain and moisture. In Berlin in 1945, Russian and American servicemen communicate through gestures, showing that even in wartime, people can find common ground and interact. Sabiha Gökçen, the first female pilot in Turkey and a military fighter pilot, was one of the 8 adopted daughters of Ataturk. In 1930, she made a significant contribution to aviation and inspired many. The sleeping quarters of the US Naval Base became overcrowded due to the 1918 flu pandemic, which claimed the lives of around 100 million people. This accounted for about 6% of the total global population, and the consequences were catastrophic. The Statue of Liberty, framed by scaffolding in 1885 in Paris. Workers are completing a crucial stage of her construction, preparing for the grand opening. After the earthquake in 1906 in San Francisco, the statue of explorer Louis Agassiz fell from its pedestal on the facade of Stanford University. Clashes between demonstrators and police during tax riots in England in 1990. The revolt against Thatcher's poll tax became one of the largest civil protests in the country, drastically changing the political landscape. A hitch of 33 horses pulls a combine harvester for wheat in the United States in 1900. This scene illustrates the labor-intensive agricultural work of that time, when mechanization was just beginning to develop. At the inauguration parade in the United States in 1953, a television cowboy lassos President Eisenhower. This unusual entertainment captured the attention of the audience and became a highlight of the celebration. Three men demonstrate a new console bridge system that was utilized in the construction of the bridge over the Firth of Forth on the eastern coast of Scotland. This occurred in 1882. A convenient mobile street confessional was installed in the city of Częstochowa, Poland, in 1964. It became an important place for the faithful, providing an opportunity for spiritual communication on the street. Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister, poses with his beloved poodle Rufus at his Chartwell estate in England in 1951, showcasing his love for animals. In 1950, in the USA, students at the College of Home Economics learned not only how to use an electric iron, but also the basics of repairing household appliances, which was extremely useful in everyday life. Students at the Barensdorf Firefighting School in Bieskov in 1933 are mastering skills that will help them effectively combat fire in the future and save lives. Fidel Castro, the renowned Cuban leader, is holding the future Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, in 1972. This moment became a symbol of friendship between the two countries and their peoples. Physicist Harold Agnew carries plutonium for the atomic bomb Fat Man, which would claim the lives of approximately 740 people in the USA 1945. This moment became part of the tragic history of nuclear weapons. An unforgettable football match took place at Barcelona's Camp Nou in 1925. This stadium became a symbol of Spanish football and attracts thousands of fans. Hillary Clinton, while in Belarus in 1994, delivered vital humanitarian aid to a local hospital, which became a significant step in supporting those affected by the crisis. During the Tour de France in 1974, Eddy Merckx ignored a barrier and an approaching train. This moment became a symbol of his courage and determination in racing. Japanese sailors salute as the flag is lowered from the deck of the aircraft carrier Zuikaku, which is sinking in the Philippine Sea in 1944. This moment became a symbol not only of military power, but also of the tragedy experienced by the sailors.